Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Here at The Cheap Audio Man, we help folks find high-value hi-fi, home theater gear, and headphone gear. And today, we're talking about the $4,000 Meze Empyrean Elite. So, I've sold out $4,000. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about what a $4,000 pair of headphones sounds like. Today's sponsor is audiophile cases. Yeah, to make sure your headphones sound the best that they're going to sound, make sure you encase them into an audiophile case. It's kind of like carbonite, except it opens up much more easily. But it locks in the audiophile sound so that when you take it out, you have more audiophile sound before it evaporates. If you don't put them into an audiophile case, the audiophile sound evaporates. Little known fact. Okay. The Meze Empyrean Elite. Meze reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to review these. And out of pure curiosity, I was like, yes, of course I do. But I started thinking about it. If I'm going to review lower cost products, then how in the world am I going to know whether or not they're really good, if they really punch above their price category, unless I've heard things that are more expensive? So part of the reason why I was excited is simply because I've never reviewed anything even remotely close to this. I think the most expensive thing I've ever reviewed is about $1,200 for the ELAC Unify reference. Maybe some other things. I don't know. The case. Complaint number one, the audiophile case. All right. When we're talking about $4,000 for a pair of headphones, naturally it probably comes in a case. I would say if I'm paying $4,000 for something, I want a better case. There's nothing particularly wrong with the case, but I would surmise that I could probably go on AliExpress or something like that and find a case identical to this for probably $20 or maybe even less. Who knows? The reason why I say that is everything about this was okay until I actually grabbed the handle. And on the handle, I don't know if you can see that right here, there's a line from where the plastic mold was. So the handle to your $4,000 headphone inside the audiophile case is plastic. Now, is it going to break? Probably not. But for $4,000, go find a full grain leather case, because if you source it correctly, you can get a very nice leather. Heck, you could buy a Louis Vuitton purse for $1,000 and stick these headphones in there and still have $3,000 to work with. Maybe you can eke some profit margin out of that $3,000. What I'm saying is, if you're going to make a $4,000 headphone, put it inside something that costs probably more than $20. Just a suggestion. Okay, let's get them out. I almost knocked over my coffee again. One of these days, I'm going to knock over my coffee, and it's not going to be pretty. But I'm not going to edit it out. All right, let's take a look at what it looks like on the inside. All right, look at that. Very nice, right? Got some foam at the top, 2 cords, 2 cables. Here's the headphone, 2 sets of pads. All right, let's get them out. Let's take a look at them. I have never been so careful with any other product, headphones or anything, than I have with these. When I first got them, I busted them out because, of course, I wanted to listen to them right away. I busted them out, and like my kids wanted to hear them. I would put them on their head, and I would just stand there, making sure, and I put them carefully back into their case. Anyway, you don't care about that. You want to know about the build construction. Pretty much flawless from everything that I've seen. Now, does it feel like $4,000? It definitely feels nice. I don't know. I don't have a ton of experience with expensive headphones, but these are definitely the most well-built product I've ever had. On the top, carbon fiber rails, real leather, and at this point you can tell that this is real leather. And coincidentally, it is on a harder leather. I'm assuming this is full grain, something that you would find in a purse like a Louis Vuitton or something like that. So at least they got the head strap right. And on the bottom, it's the suede, so full grain. The side, there's a little post, and it just slides in and up to a just beautiful all metal construction. On the exterior of the cup, again, more carbon fiber, open. These are very open. We'll talk about that in the sound a little bit more, but attention to detail is fantastic. The bottom are mini XLR pins, and each one of the cables fits snugly right inside them. I just reviewed the Caspian. The Caspian has a very similar, if not identical, connection method. And the Caspian's connection, very good. I don't see a whole lot of difference. Yes, this is better. It feels like it's a higher quality. But the Caspian is really not bad when one compares this. Now, this may have magic pins made out of irradiated gold-plated adamantium. I don't know, but it's nice. It's very nice, and you would expect it to be nice. Ear pads. Magnetic. Oh, it's so nice. Put that right on there. Pops right back on there. Okay? Pop it on, off and on. I'm going to take some pictures, but these drivers are just amazing looking. It really is somewhat of a work of art. It's not like people are going to come over and hey, you want to see my headphones? But they're spectacular. So it comes with two pads. One is a leather pad. One is not a leather pad. It's a fabric pad. I landed on these. We'll talk more about that when I get into the sound. But you can see there's a metal mesh on the inside, which is very nice. Again, flawless. The construction, the magnetic attachment, the way that the pads are glued onto this is very well done. It's gorgeous. All right, we'll put those back on. Let's see what they look like on my brain housing unit. Just like that. Pretty open too. My voice only changes a little bit. They're very nice. You can hardly notice that they're even on your head. Just kidding. They're monstrosities. But the weight distribution is really good. So again, you know my take on heavy headphones. But the clamp force is just perfect. The weight distribution, perfect. Well designed. Very good. Yeah. You can use these for long marathon listening sessions. Very good. Are they built like $4,000 headphones? I don't know. I don't really have any experience with even $2,000 headphones or $3,000 headphones. What I can tell you is this is built better than any other headphone that I've had. As far as ratings, these are rated at 32 ohms and 101 dB sensitivity, I think. Yep, 101 dB, which means you can drive them off of just about anything. And initially, I drove them off of a very cheap dongle DAC, the Hi-Diz S9 Pro. They sounded fantastic. I also drove these off of my most expensive electronics for headphones, which includes the Denafreps Aries 2 for the DAC. And then I was going into the Geshelli E2, but I also tried it on a Sonkaz headphone amp that is quite a bit more expensive. I think that was $600. They got better with better electronics, but they still sounded fantastic. It's not like if you put these on a cheap dongle DAC or something, so you can spend the $4,000 and then maybe save on the dongle DAC. It's not like they didn't sound good. They sounded fantastic, even on a $120 dongle DAC. I just keep looking at them. They're so pretty. So pretty. What do you think, Roctopus? Roctopus likes them. Let's talk about how they sound. Sound impressions of the lovely Meze Aperion Elite sound impressions. I started off with the leather pads, and straight out of the box, I was like, whoa, these are warm, very warm. I have listened to some warm headphones before, and personally, I kind of enjoy it. I don't know if you have any Meze headphones, but the 99 Classics are pretty warm. There is detail in there, and as one gets accustomed to the sound, that detail comes more front and center. With these, they're planars, and there's a little bit of detail that I have come to expect from planars. out of the box with the leather pads, I didn't hear that detail. And that was sad. I was like, where's the detail? These are $4,000. They should make me feel like I'm close to the creator. So I changed out the ear pads, and while there was still a warm sense to the presentation, a lot of that detail came flooding back in. So I landed on the cloth pads, and that's what I stuck with. Leather pads, very warm, no fatigue at all. Soft pads, still warm, no fatigue at all. I'm not going to go through like individual songs and tracks and timestamps. I will just say this. These made me want to continue to listen to more music. There was never a point when I was like, oh, okay, yep, that's an issue, write that down. That's an issue, write that down. It was simply me just wanting to listen to music. And when Amazon Music was driving the ship and serving me up songs as it saw fit, I just listened to them. In my experience, that's happened a few times when I'm just like, ooh, and I'm just waiting. I'm kind of waiting for what these are going to do next. I'm interested. Everything just sounded great. I was listening to some classic rock, and there was some stuff that I mean, I've heard the song before, obviously, but I haven't heard it for a long time. And I was just amazed. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I was texting Steve, one of my patrons, when I was doing the majority of the listening to this, down sitting on the dock down by the bay or whatever, wasting time. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but anyway, he came on. Again, just amazing. The separation, the sound of the water coming in. That's the one thing that just blew me away about these, is how everything was separated out, put into space. Soundstage and imaging for me is quite different from speakers, so I just appreciate width and maybe some forward and aft imaging every once in a while. And these did it just as well as anything else I've heard. And I hope that, and they should, right, for $4,000. Ain't No Sunshine by what's his face, Withers. Just the nuanced details of his voice. It wasn't forward in your face, but breath sounds, inhales, and things like that were present and were there, but weren't so detailed. There's some headphones, and don't get me wrong, I love the Sundaras. But sometimes with the Sundaras, there's a level of detail that doesn't necessarily seem completely natural. Everything about these was natural, maybe even a little bit more full, a little bit warmer, but still detail. And the layering, I think, is the thing that blew me away the most about these. Everything was separated. There was no smearing. And I thought that I have heard things that do great separation. But these do it in a way that's not like, hey, look at me, I can separate out the music and the instruments. These are just, hey, I'm going to do my thing. And it was amazing. The biggest takeaway for these headphones, the Meze Empyrean Elite, the biggest takeaway for me was I just wanted to listen to more music. I was not evaluating these headphones. Even though I tried to evaluate them, I wasn't. I was simply enjoying music. If that is something that you like to do and you have the income, even if you don't have the income but you want to make an investment into your sound, $4,000 is ridiculously expensive. But I can't say that this is not the headphone for you, because frankly, and I was telling some of my patrons about this, frankly, if this was $1,000 or even $2,000, even if this is $2,000, I would be thinking about, how can I afford these? Because at the end of the day, they brought joy to me. I listened to some Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Actually listened to a lot of Elton John. Bohemian Rhapsody. For whatever reason, I was listening to a lot of classic rock through these. They still do metal really well. And actually they do metal in a way that keeps everything separated but warms up. So the body, like Sad But True, the lower electric guitar riffs that James Hetfield is so good at, had so much body and a little bit of warmth, but still the detail. It was very engaging. So these aren't just good for classic rock. They're good for metal too. Bass, I don't know. It just sounded, everything sounded good. So I'm not going to say, well, bass is fast, this, that, and the other. It made me want to listen to the music. And not every headphone does that for me. Frankly, every headphone that I've ever listened to, there's something that I can pick out. The only thing that I could pick out that some people may not like is these are a bit warm. They're not detail, even though the detail is there, it's not put on display. So I can't say these aren't detail monsters. I think they are detail monsters. It's just the way that it's tuned, it's not completely apparent. I wish the leather pads sounded like the cloth pads, and the cloth pads gave one even more of a detail. Because at that point, I think you would have a headphone that is still leans very warm, but still has very good instrument separation and clarity. And then if these sounded more along the lines of something like the Sundaras or the Virum 1s, but yet still had the separation, the layering, everything like this, I think you have a real winner. Like I was saying, if these are $2,000, I would be considering it because they make me enjoy the music. And that's what this is really all about, right? I haven't heard anything that sounds similar until yesterday, coincidentally. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that the product I'm about to mention is as good as these. Not even close. They're not half as good as these. They're probably not even a quarter as good as these. But they do have a bit of a similar sound signature, and that is the Monolith M1070s. I just got those in. I listened to them. They're probably not even broken in enough, but I listened to them, and they do have that leaning to the warm, full sound. Those are about the only thing that I have in the house that sounded somewhat similar. But again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that the Monolith M1070 is as good as the Empyrean, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, as the Meze, these Elites. No way are they as good as that. They're not half as good. Maybe they're half as good. Probably not half as good. $4,000 is ridiculous. But if it brings you joy, I'm not going to stand in your way. I'm not going to say you should get something else. $4,000, you can put together a 2-channel system, get a headphone amp, get an awesome DAC, buy probably 2 or 3 sets of headphones. You can have an entire system for $4,000, and a good one at that. But you could also buy these. And if this brings you as much joy as that, then who am I to say that these are too expensive? These are remarkable. I talked to one of my other YouTube friends who is more a headphone person, and he's going to send me some LCD X's, I think. So I'm excited. Maybe they are as good as these at a quarter of the price. We'll see. But up to this point, I haven't heard a headphone that is as good as these are. And they shouldn't be. These should be better. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night, we have patron-only Zooms. We also have a patron-only Facebook group. You can also sign up for Amazon Music. There's a link in the description. Sign up. You can get 6 months of Disney Plus for free, or you can get 3 months of Amazon Music for free. If you sign up and cancel, it doesn't matter. I get a couple of dollars for everybody that signs up. You can also use the links in the description just in case you want to impulse buy the Meze Empyrean Elites. I'll have links in the description. I think you can get them from Crutchfield. I'll also link the M1070s and some other headphones that I really enjoy. Again, though, they're not going to be as good as these. That's okay. So, don't binge watch anything. And if you are lucky enough, binge listen through your Meze Empyrean Elites and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.